everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is a quick video of what I built last night. I don't know if this can help anybody, but this surely helps me. As you know, I use my table saw for pretty much everything. I use it for cutting, and I also use it as a workstation. I also use the ground as a workstation, but that's getting a little too old, and I'm tired of being on the ground, and it's so much comfortable to have your project up in front of you. So I'm very limited on space in my garage. I do have a desk that was given to me by my best friend before she moved to Texas, and I'm planning on restoring it, but as of right now it's sitting in my garage because I have no room for it and it still needs to be restored. But I don't want to mess it up, so I can't use that as a workstation. I have a foldable desk over here that I could use, but it's not strong enough to hold certain projects, and it's always cluttered with stuff, so it's kind of hard to use that as well. So I'm left with the ground or my table saw. This table saw was given to me by my father. It was way too big for his shop, which his shop is, I mean, it's a decent sized shop, but he said it was too big for his shop and he wanted to scale down, so he gave this to me, and now it's in my shop, and it's way too big for my shop because I have no place for it. So I pretty much keep it in here, pushed up against something, so I can't access the desks that I do have. So again, I use the ground or I use the table saw as my workstation. Well, I want to preserve this because, again, this was passed down to me by my father, and I don't want to mess this up because the chances that I'm going to get another industrial strength table saw is slim to none, especially something this big. So I want to preserve it. I have been using this a lot when I do some painting or when I do glue ups and stuff like that. So I have paint and glue on top of it, and I'm constantly scraping and cleaning the table saw so I can use it and so it doesn't get messed up. So this past weekend, while I was at Home Depot, I walked past the lumber section and I saw this MDF board. So this is a half inch thick, a 2x4 MDF board, so it's pretty strong. It's heavy, but it's not so heavy where I can't move it. And so I thought maybe I could just use this and place it on top of my table saw and use it as a workstation. But as you can tell, this thing slides. And if you lean too much on one part, you know, it will fall, and that's not good when you're building something. So I had to figure out what to do to get this from not falling off of this. So I went online and I went on Amazon, and I looked up table saw sled kits, and this thing popped up. This was about $25, and it's a universal track that fits into your table saw. So I will put a link in the description below for this. So what I was planning on doing was taking this and attaching it to the MDF board and being done with it, and that's it. Well, I also had these clamps that I've had for a couple years now, which I got for about $8 for 4 of them, and I thought, hey, let me attach these clamps to the MDF board, and so I have something to hold down my project while I'm working on it, and that would help out tremendously. Well, then I decided to get more fancy, and I had a 1x4, and it's a hardwood 1x4 that I have, and I only have one piece of it, and I don't know what else to do with it. So instead of just letting it sit there and rot, let me use it on my table, my removable table from a table saw. So what I did last night was I routed, I'll show you something. Let me get a sample board, which I don't have one quick enough in front of me that I can show you, but okay, we'll just go with this. Okay, say this is my 1x4. So what I wanted to do was I wanted my 1x4 to overhang the MDF board just by a little bit, but also have this flushed to the table. So I needed to cut a channel through here. So what I did, I took my router and I cut a channel. So now the 1x4 fits flush to the table, but overhangs a little bit onto the MDF board, giving me extra surface area so I can make sure this is attached properly to the MDF board and it doesn't fall off. So I did glue it, and then I was going to screw the board, the 1x4 into the MDF board, and then screw these to the bottom of the MDF board, and that gives it, and then have everything attached, pretty much. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I did. That's what I wanted to do. So I did that last night, and I am going to remove this from the area and show you what I built last night. Again, I don't know if this project would help anybody, but this surely helps me, and it gives me an extra workstation that I can remove, put it off in the corner when I don't need it, or just keep it on my table saw when I'm not using my table saw for cutting. And I thought this was a perfect idea. So give me 1 second and I will show you my build. All right, so here it is. As you saw, I just lifted it and found the track and inserted the track with the table saw. I don't know the terminology, but I put it down and slid it in, and now this thing is not going anywhere. So that was what I wanted to do. That was my plan from the get-go, and I think it turned out perfectly. Here's the 1x4 that I attached to it. I'm going to, in a second, grab my camera so you can actually see close up what I did. And here are the clamps that I was telling you about that I got a couple years ago. These were about $8, so they could be more expensive or cheaper, but they're adjustable, and I have them spaced out at the top of my workstation, so I can come onto the side and use it to, I can put a piece of wood down here and clamp it in place. So now this is not moving, so this will help me out tremendously because I don't have a lot of strength to hold and screw things all at the same time, and I'm always asking for help or just struggling doing it. So that's what I wanted to do with those, and so I did. And let me go ahead and pause this video and show you a first-hand look of what I did. Okay, so there's little tracks. These are the little bars that I have to go in the tracks, and so they fit perfectly. That's a universal. So I don't know if table saws are different, but this one, it doesn't fit in the slots down here. It just fits inside the track. So that just gives it a little bit of stability. Now with the 1x4, this is flush. I kind of messed up with my router right there, but this is all flush with the MDF board underneath. Ooh, I don't know if this is good. Okay, see, all flush perfectly. And it overhangs just a little bit. So these screws right here actually screw into the MDF board as well, giving that a little bit more extra security. And the plastic tracks that I have screw up into this board as well, and the MDF board, so it is all secured. It's not going anywhere. I also have some really strong glue on there. Here are my little clamps that I got. They're all adjustable. So that works out perfectly. This is a little bit bigger than my table saw, so I can actually clamp something down here if I needed to. If I push down on this, it's not coming up, so that's another thing. So it's very secure to the table, and I think it turned out perfectly. So it was a simple build, simple design, I guess, if you want to call it. I didn't really design it, I just kind of threw it together, and there it is. That's my new workstation. I think it turned out really well. Now see don't look at all this. Oh, mess. I gotta do some spring cleaning, people. Don't judge me. I'm normally a clean person. But yep, here it is. this is what I built last night with my husband because he had to help me screw these bad boys in here. Make sure, here's a pro tip. Put the tracks in, or put the plastic into the tracks. Get some really nice adhesive. Lay your MDF board down onto it, let the glue dry, lift it up the next day or later on, and pre-drill some holes into the plastic that goes into the MDF board. Make sure they're countersink. You countersink your screws, because if any of the screw is hanging out, it'll catch and this won't slide properly. So that's my only tip right there. I needed my husband's help because getting everything to be perfect without getting frustrated is not easy for me. So it's a good thing that he helped me out, because now I am sane and I have a new workstation for my garage, shop, whatever you want to call it. But there it is. I don't know if this video will help anybody. Most people probably have really good workstations, but as of right now, I have a removable workstation for my table saw, and I can't wait to use it. So this is going into the random DIY category of my YouTube page. Again, I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or suggestions, or sorry about that noise, or if there's anything else you think I should add to this. I may put a decal on it, not sure, but as of right now, it's done. So thank you again for being here. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day.